I am Ethan, and this is the news. You are here because you love God, and this is an awesome time. But right now, the question is, did I wear this shirt last week? No, really, did I wear this shirt last week? I walked outside, and I said to myself, you know what? I think people are going to dock me some points because I probably wore this shirt last week. So if you want to get on your chats right now, and if you remember, tell me, did I wear this? No, really, tell me, did I wear this last week? I think I did. But I walked out the door. I was thinking so much about my shirt that I walked outside and I was like, what are these? And I totally forgot about wearing these shoes. Yeah. I mean, they're Birkenstocks, right? They're all right, but I was so distracted that I walked outside with these on. I mean, I only walked down the steps. I could have walked back up, but maybe that's where we are these days with laziness. You know, everybody says, oh, the phones are making us lazy. We need to get rid of the phones. We need to get kids off of their iPads. We need to start doing something. We need to work them all day and long. Get the kids out there and moving. Maybe I'm a product of that because I was too lazy to go back up the steps and change shoes. I don't really know. Could be. But I guess this outfit is okay. It's better to look swagged. No, it's better to look nerdalicious than, I guess, swagadelic. And I guess I'm pretty nerdalicious. I'm pretty dad-alicious. Yeah, this is a dad outfit. Yeah, I'm not there yet. But main question I want to ask today, as we're getting going here, what are those, Pastor Matt? Main question I want to ask getting going here is dinosaurs. What happened to those? No, I was actually pondering this entire week because I know all of you are out there in school, and when you're in public school like most of you are, and I teach public school, I look in all of the science books, and all of the science books say one thing or another thing, but most of them say dinosaurs are millions of years old. And then you kind of hit this moment and you're like, sweet, dinosaurs are millions of years old, but I'm also a Christian. And dinosaurs are supposed to be millions of years old, but I'm a Christian, and based on that fact, the Bible, if you trace the Bible back, it's about 6,000 years old. So how do the two collide? Millions of years old in the textbook, but a 6,000 year from today all the way back to the beginning. How do they fit? How do dinosaurs fit in the mix? God doesn't tell us about dinosaurs. Actually, he does. A little bit. One, maybe two instances in the Bible, you see a dinosaur. If you think I'm lying, you can look it up. I don't have the exact reference point here. Gigantic meteor. I've heard about that too. But evolutionary people are talking about all sorts of different ways the dinosaurs died, and they can't come up with one. But if we look to the Bible, we can think about a couple of things, because there's this huge flood thing that happened. I don't know if you remember my dude Noah. My dude Noah went through a big old flood. Yeah, you remember that. Okay. And he took all of these animals, but there was no mention about dinosaurs. And dinosaurs are gigantic. It has to be a big meteor to kill the dinosaurs, right? If they're gigantic. Well, a lot of them are, I like that noise. But here's the thing. He could have brought tiny or infantile versions of dinosaurs, could he not? Did say that. But I will retrace my steps back to the point I'm trying to make here is there's this thing called creationism, and this is actually something I really believe in. And this is something that you can trace back through and find some answers for your own. Because if you are really curious about how do the Bible and dinosaurs mix, there are answers for you. There's this place called Answers in Genesis. I've been looking this up for days because I had these questions too. And I will tell you that there are some answers. See, the theory is, if you look back in Job, there's a book in Job. I don't know which one it is. To be honest, I really should have looked that up today, but there is a book in Job where it talks about this being called a behemoth. And the way he describes it, it sounds like a dinosaur. If you look it up right now, it sounds like he's talking about a dinosaur. And if anybody out there wants to tell me, Job 40, look for the behemoth. Thank you, Pastor Math. Yeah. Job 40, the behemoth. Job is one of the earliest books in the Bible. The earliest dated books in the Bible that they've found. So, if Job is one of the earliest, and Job is after, if he lived after Noah, that means that the dinosaurs would had to have survived during the flood. They had to have survived the flood and made it out of that. So Noah, theoretically, it was all theoretically, but just as theoretical, well, a little different. I'm not going to say that. A little different. But what I'm saying is, theoretically, the dinosaurs could have made it off that boat and died by natural selection, which is a great cause because the Earth went through a catastrophe where it was entirely flooded, changing the biome completely. Easily could have happened. Okay? All I'm bringing this up for is because when I was a kid, I looked at millions of years. The Earth is 4 billion years old. And that, my friends, is a direct hijack into your textbooks by evolutionary theorists. And you don't have to stand for it like I did when I was a kid. And I believed that. And I let that come into my mind and dictate what I believed about Jesus, what I believed about God. It changed my relationship. It made me doubt. But now that I'm here, I can say that I've asked a lot of questions and I've made it on. And look, we have a dinosaur here. Oh my goodness. Okay. That being said, I'm going to bring... Ah! Oh, crikey. I'm going to bring somebody up here to answer some questions for me. Would you like to come up? Come on up. Let's go. Let's go. You're on up here. Okay. For us right now, can you tell the audience your name?
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn?
Brooklyn.
Okay, just enunciating for everybody else. Brooklyn. Is that where you were born?
No.
Does everybody say that to you?
No.
Are you sick and tired of me talking about it right now?
Yes.
Okay, now that we got to somewhere where we're both agreeing on something, I have to ask, what is your favorite dinosaur?
A T-Rex.
A T-Rex. Come on, Brooklyn, be original. Think outside of the box. Everybody's going to say, I'm just kidding. That's a cool dinosaur. It really is a cool dinosaur. Can you, for me, she didn't know this was involved, can you make a T-Rex noise? Brooklyn, everybody! Brooklyn! All right. That's the first time I've been stood up, and guess who's next? Oh no, Matt's pointing to him. Let's see if he... Yes, Max. Max is going to come up. I have some questions for Max. All right, come on up here. All right, my first question, Max, in no random order. How did you get so tall?
Steroids.
Well, that's not good for you, but good to know. Everybody call the police on Max. Okay, next. Why am I so short compared to you?
It's obvious. You didn't take steroids.
Right, he is right again. Right again. Wow. Guess what you've earned?
A star.
No. Another question. Are you ready for your next question? What is your favorite dinosaur?
Stegosaurus.
Wrong. Your favorite dinosaur is a pterodactyl. You have chosen wrong. The P is silent. He's telling me the P is silent, but I want to say the P. You know what? That P's there. I'm going to say that for my own usage, okay? Don't tell my kids I said a word wrong. Okay, they would actually correct me. Okay, but pterodactyl's your favorite one, right?
No.
But you just said it was.
not.
It's not. Okay. What is your favorite I kind of overrid your decision so much that I forgot what your favorite dinosaur is. What is your favorite dinosaur?
Stegosaurus.
Stegosaurus. And what is the Stegosaurus? What is it, what is it known for?
I'm not really sure. I just like it because it has an STE in the beginning, just like steroids.
Oh, the two things that are similar, steroids and Stegosaurus. For everybody out there knowing and you just went through a revolution, right, like me. I'm actually, I'm kind of curious. I kind of forget. What does Stegosaurus look like?
I'm not sure.
Can you show us? Can you go on all fours and show us right now? Well, actually, he prefers not to, but I prefer if he did. Come on, no, do not follow Brooklyn's advice. Brooklyn's advice is for quitters.
I agree.
Okay, so show us what a Stegosaurus looks like as it's eating a bush. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. You can be tame. You can be pretty tame.
The problem with the Stegosaurus is it has plates on its back.
Well, you can make plates. You can do it.
I don't have plates.
I'll help you make plates. Let's go. Come on. Let's go. Let's go. Matt, take a picture. He's doing it. Woo! Here's the plates. I'm going. Go ahead. You're eating a bush. Eat the bush. Eat the bush. He's not doing push-ups. He's eating a bush. All right, get out of here. Thank you. That was the poorest Stegosaurus I've seen in about 2 weeks. No, that wasn't bad. Brooklyn, do you want to come up again? She wants to come back. You know what? There's no video here, so if you texted us here, I'm sorry. Okay, all right. Well, we have 1 more minute. I have 1 more question. Can you do a Tyrannosaurus Rex for us now?
No.
I don't want to be thanked for asking. I just want to see a Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Well, then you do it.
I can't do it. No. This is my microphone. This is mine. All right. Well, if you can't do it, then do you have another special talent you can do?
I guess.
You guess? I want to see magic.
I don't know how to do magic.
Not magic as in the literal magic. I want to see magic. Something magical happen.
I don't really know.
Well, you know what, so you know what's happening that's magical is we're about to get started here. So we're going to go to the next screen here. Thank you for powering up with us. It's been a fantastic show. So.
We've got 2 minutes left.
It's 2 minutes? I thought it was 7 o'clock. Oh. I was trying to end on a deadline. But we have time for it. We have 2 minutes. We have 1 minute, 45 seconds. I thought we were going to get started, but we're not. Yeah, it's bad for showtime. Sorry. What?
But I think it's bad in such a great way.
What's bad? This show? This is the Power Up show.
This is power up.
You
No,
entered
you're
into
learning.
the show.
This is educational.
Yeah.
You're learning things about dinosaurs
Yep.
and creation
Yeah.
and history
Yeah.
and geology
Uh-huh.
and
A couple more things in there.
plant life
Yeah.
and physical
Yes.
fitness.
We had a show. We had a real dinosaur
You
come
had,
up here.
they had an actual
Real
dinosaur,
come
like
up
a
here.
real Maxosaurus.
Oh. Okay. A push-up. All right. Better.
All right, she's
We'll
gonna-
see. We'll see a
she's gonna do
push-up.
it. She's gonna break one out. No. That's a solid push-up.
That is a
I'm
solid
not even gonna lie.
push-up. That is a
Not
solid.
even gonna lie. That was pretty
All right.
good.
See you later.
Pretty good. All right.
Go
Thanks,
ahead.
Brooklyn.
Yeah. Goodbye. Yeah.
All right. Hey, I just want to let you guys know. If you're watching right now, if you're in the chat, we're trying to get it back up on the TV. If you're watching right now and your squad isn't in the chat, you can see who's in there, right? If there's somebody in your friend group, in your squad team crew that's not watching right now that you think, man, I wish they were here watching and learning about dinosaurs and why Max is so tall.
Yeah.
You can invite them right now. I'm going to have Jordan put my face up there, Jordan, and so they can smash my face. Hey, smash my face right now, and that way it'll give you a link that you can send out in your group text, in your group me, or your DMs, or whatever it is, so that you can invite your friends. Say, hey, man, you got to come check out what Ethan's doing in his mandals and talking about creation and dinosaurs. Because it's going to be pretty dope.
Is it now time to end?
What we're going to do right now, we're going to transition away from Power Up. We're going to see you back in 30 seconds. We're going to play a game. It's pretty lit. I'm excited for it. We'll see you in 30.
Magical time starts now.
Play the bumper. Timer, 30 seconds. Right on. All right, so here's what we're going to do. I want to let you guys know who won last week's game. Remember the game we played last week? You guys remember? You don't remember the game we played? All right, it was Find the Goat. Find the Goat. And it was an actual goat. It was like kind of, where's Waldo, but where's the goat? Just to let you know, the winner from last week was Isaac Hayward. Isaac Hayward, you've got a $10 Fizz gift card coming to you. Right now, the game we're going to play tonight, this is one I'm pretty stoked for. I'm really excited for this one because I'm a little bit, Sandy doesn't like it, but I'm a little bit of a Harry Potter nerd. And I love the Harry Potter books and movies. And so I thought tonight we would play a game that combines two of my favorite things, Harry Potter and the Bible. I mean, Harry Potter and God's Word, they go hand in hand. Sometimes I dare think that you can't tell the two apart. And that's what we're going to do tonight. Here's the game. We're going to play a little game called Dumbledore or Proverbs. And here's how the game is played. If you are, just the big screen, camera 3. So here's how we play. I'm going to show you a quote. And you have to decide if the quote is from Dumbledore or if it's from the book of Proverbs. So throw in the chat your answers, and we'll see how well you guys know Harry Potter and how well you know the Bible. So here we go. Emily, Harry Potter for life. Come on, Emily, let's go. All right, so here's the first quote. See if you can tell me who this is. And just for fun, I'm going to try and say it like Dumbledore every time, so you'll never know if it's Dumbledore or Harry Potter or Proverbs. It does not do well to dwell on dreams and forget to live. Is that Dumbledore or Proverbs? Throw it in the chat. Throw it in the chat. Dumbledore or Proverbs? Amber thinks it's Dumbledore. Gavin says Dumbledore. If you're in the room, you get in the chat. You can play too. What? You don't have Safari on your phones? You don't have any web? Dimple Whipple? I don't even know what that means, JC. The correct answer is Dumbledore. Yeah, of course that was Dumbledore. Of course that was Dumbledore. All right, here's the next one. Above all else, guard your heart. Above all else, guard your heart, Harry. Above all else, guard your heart. Throw it in chat. You think that's Dumbledore or Proverbs? Look, shh, quiet, cheat. Amber thinks it's Proverbs. You got to be in the chat to play the game. You can't just yell from the back of the room. Yeah, but you got to be in the chat. Taylor thinks it's Amber thinks it's Proverbs. Gabber thinks it's Proverbs. The correct answer is. And the correct answer is. And the correct answer is. Yeah, that's Proverbs. Yeah, that's Proverbs. All right, let's try this one. Here's the next one. Next one. And it says, do not withhold good from those to whom it's due when it is in your power to act. Dumbledore or Proverbs? JC, I don't even know what Pooble Forbes is. You're not even making sense right now. JC with the zero so far because he can't even figure out how to type Dumbledore or Dumbleverbs. That's good. Amber thinks it's Proverbs. What do you guys think? Throw it in the chat. Gavin thinks it's Proverbs. Gavin thinks it's Proverbs. All right, the correct answer is, yeah, that's Proverbs. Yeah, that's Proverbs. Give yourself a point if you got that one right. Verbs, yep. Gavin, I'm on it. Here's the next one. Tell me if this is Dumbledore or Proverbs. It takes much bravery to stand up to your enemies, but we need as much bravery to stand up to our friends. Dumbledore or Proverbs? It's getting a little harder, huh? It's getting a little harder, isn't it? That one's a little harder. No, you don't think that one's harder? I thought that one was a little harder. Throw it in the chat. What do you think it is? Dumbledore or Proverbs? Amber thinks Dumbledore. Emily thinks Dumbledore. Sandy's not playing because she doesn't like Dumbledore. Throw it in there. What do you think it is? You got about 5 seconds. Dooble wooble. Man, you're getting close. Dumbledore, obviously. Yeah, the correct answer is Dumbledore. Yeah, of course. Of course, Dumbledore. Here's the next one. We are only as strong as we are united, as weak as we are divided. Man, that one kind of rhymes. Dumbledore or Proverbs? What do you think? Throw it in the chat. Oh, Sandy said she even knew that one, the last one. Okay. Throw it in. Dumbledore or Proverbs? Which is it? Which is it? Amber thinks Dumbledore. What do we think? Throw it in the chat. Dumbledore. 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 Okay, it's fine. All right, the correct answer is, yeah, that's Dumbledore. Come on. Come on. Here's the next one. It is far easier to forgive others for being wrong than for being right. Dumbledore or Proverbs? I'm going to catch you guys with one. What do you think this one is? Dumbledore or Proverbs? What's that? Every single one sounds, see, that's what makes them tricky. Every single one. Oh, Bethany doesn't know. She's going, maybe Proverbs? I don't know. Amber thinks Dumbledore. JC says pooper gerbs. Poop gerbs. Dumbledore. Gavin thinks the correct answer is Dumbledore. Yeah, got you on that one, Bethany. Ha! Snap. Here we go. All right, next one is, even fools are thought wise if they keep silent. Dumbledore or Proverbs? Dumbledore or Proverbs? What is it? Even fools are thought wise if they keep silent. Dumbledore or Proverbs? Amber says Proverbs. Bethany says Proverbs. Sandy says Proverbs. Gavin says Proverbs. The correct answer is, yeah, that's Proverbs. Yeah, that's Proverbs. All right, here's the next one. You guys tell me when we're getting close to the hopes placed in mortals die with them. Proverbs or Dumbledore? Proverbs or Dumbledore? What do you think? Proverbs is Proverbs. Amber says, Sandy says Dumbledore. Okay. What do you guys got? Proverbs, Gavin says. Correct answer is Proverbs. Ha! We got you. Some of you. No, not really. We got Sandy. Sandy got it. Pibble. I don't know what Pibble is, JC. Here we go. Next one. It is the unknown we fear when we look upon death and darkness. Nothing more. Proverbs or Dumbledore? Sandy's like going, I'm probably the only one watching this right now who hasn't seen or read any of the Harry Potter books. Yeah, she hasn't read them. She doesn't like it. I can't make her. She's a grown woman. She does what she wants. Amber says Dumbledore. JC says Gandalf. That's not even the right series. Dumbledore. All right, the correct answer is Dumbledore. Yeah, that's Dumbledore. How many more we got? One more. Here's the last one. Death and destruction are never satisfied. Dumbledore or Proverbs? Dumbledore or Proverbs? What do you think? Throw it in the chat. Throw it in the chat. Let me see it. Let me see it. Sandy thinks Dumbledore. Amber says Proverbs. Somebody's got to be right. Somebody's got to be wrong. Who's it going to be? Gavin says Proverbs. The correct answer is, yeah, that's Proverbs. Yeah, that's Proverbs. All right, right now, I'm going to have our worship team come on up. Man, I'm super excited for worship tonight. We've got a great group and a great set to share with you guys. And here's the thing, and I tell you guys this every week, but take it to heart. I hope you really do. Wherever you're at in your space right now, just kind of lower the lights if you need to. If you have twinkle lights in your room, I think that's pretty dope. I'm a little bit jealous. I wish I could have twinkle lights in my room, but I don't. Turn them on. Get the mood right so that you can kind of put yourself in a place where you can worship and just tell God how much you love Him. I'm going to welcome Bethany and the band onto the stage. Here we go.
Test, all right. Hi, students. Drop in the chat if you had a great Wednesday and if you're ready for some worship.
Drop in the
Wednesday.
chat if you're ready for Friday.
was arrested.
Alone in my sorrow and dead in my sin, lost without hope and no place to begin. Your love made a way to let mercy come in. When death was arrested and my life began. Ash was redeemed, only beauty remains. And my orphan heart was given a name. My mourning grew quiet, my feet rose to dance. When death was arrested and my life began. Oh, your grace so free washes over me. You have made me new, now life begins with you. It's your endless love pouring down on us. You have made us new, now life begins with you. Released from my chains, I'm a prisoner no more. My shame was a ransom you faithfully bore. He canceled my debt and he called me his friend. When death was arrested and my life began. Oh, your grace so free washes over me. You have made me new, now life begins with you. It's your endless love pouring down on us. You have made us new, now life begins with you. Our Savior displayed on a criminal's cross. Darkness rejoiced as though heaven had lost. But then Jesus arose with our freedom in hand. That's when death was arrested and my life began. Oh, your grace so free washes over me. You have made me new, now life begins with you.
is run to the Father.
I've carried a burden for too long on my own. I wasn't created to bear it alone. I hear your invitation to let it all go. And I see it now. I'm laying it down, and I know that I need you. I run to the Father, I fall into grace. I'm done with the hiding, no reason
Just thank you so much for bringing everybody here tonight, just helping us be able to have a means to be able to communicate with each other and just gather online and be able to listen to your word tonight, God. And as we just come to you, just take every burden that we have, God, and just let us be able to give it to you and help us to be able to lean into you and to find you and to just surrender everything to you, God. Just every doubt, every fear that we have, anything that's going on in our lives, just be able to turn it over to you, God. And we just are so grateful for the way that you continue to pour into us and continue to pour into us for the rest of the night tonight, God. We just pray for all of these things in your name, God. Amen.
I don't know about you. I was just telling you in silence. You saw my lips moving, but you couldn't hear my words. I was just saying, man, I thought that was, worship team, great job. That was one of the greatest worship sets we've had in recent memory. Throw it in there. It was amazing. I want to start tonight. We're going to continue. This is kind of our Easter Sunday message, right? We're meeting on Wednesday night, but this is going to be broadcast on our YouTube channel on Sunday morning for anybody who wants to see it. And so tonight, I want to start off, and I want to ask you a question. And those of you in the room, you can answer too. What is the most amazing news someone has ever told you? Like you were the first person that they told. What's the most amazing news that someone has ever told you? Throw it in the chat. What is the most amazing news that anyone has ever told you? And you were the first person to hear that news. What's the most amazing thing? Like I can tell you for me, it was pretty easy. The most amazing thing that I ever heard, that I was the first person to hear it, was when my wife got pregnant and she was going to have a baby, and I was the first to hear it right in front of the camera. That's cool. That's how it's going to be. That we were having a baby, and I was the first person she told, and like that was the most incredible thing. And so maybe you've been told something incredible. Maybe you're the first person to ever hear news. And then I want to ask you a second question: is how did it feel to be the first person that someone tells something amazing to? Like, how did that feel? And maybe if you've never been like, the first person, Gavin, when they told me you had a crush, yeah. Like these things, you're the first person that they told. And like there's something that's special, like it triggers off in us when we are the first person that hears some great or cool news, right? Like it makes you feel special. Like it makes you feel more than what you would normally feel about yourself. And I want to tell you guys a story about me. Some of you guys know I grew up in Southern California. I grew up in the LA area. But when I was in 11th grade, I actually moved. And why would anyone move out of LA? I know, it's crazy. But I moved to a new town, and if I'm a little more specific, I moved from LA, a major city, to a small town in a different state. I moved to a little tiny logging town called Glendale, Oregon. And if you want to find it on a map, boy, you have to know exactly where to look. It's this teeny tiny little spot on a map. Like put the picture. There's one road through town. Like that's it. And in the town is maybe, 1,000 people total that live in the town itself, and then, sort of in the woods. There's like woods people in the outskirts of town, maybe a couple hundred more, right? And here I am. I moved from Los Angeles, and I thought I was pretty cool at the time. I moved to LA, from LA, to this tiny little logging town to live with my dad. And it wasn't cool, to say the least. See, if any of you have moved before, like moving to a new school is hard enough, right? Well, I was in 11th grade. I was like full of teenage angst. I thought I was cool, but I was really just a little awkward, like if I'm being honest with myself. And I was the new kid in a small town where like all these other kids, they were born there. Like they were raised together. Like they'd known each other since like forever. And I was not like in a good place emotionally because of it. I literally lived there for 9 months and only made like 2 friends. Like that's just real. Like if I put you, you get into my headspace at the time, I felt uncomfortable everywhere I went, right? I'd walk through the halls and everyone would look at me because I was the new kid. Like no one knew me. I wasn't the one who was good at sports. I wasn't the one who was a good friend. I wasn't the one who loved to play music. I was just simply the new kid. And everyone else was observing and trying to decide if they would allow me in or not. I felt like a zoo animal or something, right? Or maybe like a fish in a fish bowl. Everyone watched, but there was nobody there with me. I was completely isolated and alone, feeling like everyone's just looking at me like I'm some kind of freak because I had an earring in my ear. And maybe you've never moved to a new town, but you probably relate to how I felt, right? Think back to when everything changed to being online, right? You guys remember when we started this whole online thing, and we did Zoom here, and I know a lot of you did Zoom for school and a lot of things, right? But there were a lot of things that made that stretch of time difficult. And see, maybe one of the hardest things, especially for me, was not being able to be in the same place together. Was it weird? I just ask you guys, throw it in the chat. Was it weird being in class, but not really being in class? Was that weird? That would have been weird for me. Online sucked. Gavin, I'm with you. We use Zoom a lot, right? And I know you guys use Zoom a lot. And sometimes, when I'm on a call for work and I'm on a Zoom call, sometimes it could feel like I'm invisible. You guys ever have that happen? You're on a Zoom call and you're just kind of blending into the background, especially when there's a lot of people in the call. I'm on a men's group every Friday morning with men from across the country, and there's 50 or so men on this Zoom call, and there's so many people they don't all fit on one page. They have to hit the next page to see everyone's faces. And I feel when I'm on a call that big, I'm just blending in until I have to speak, right? And then all of a sudden, when you have to speak, then it's everyone's staring at me, waiting for me to unmute myself, because I'm that guy that forgets to I am. I'm that guy that forgets to unmute himself. I'll get, several sentences and I'm going to get real passionate about something, and they'll just go, Matt, you're muted. Dang it, again. Maybe you felt like that too. It's this weird feeling of being unnoticed, just like when I moved into that new school. See, after a few weeks on Zoom, I think everyone got a bit more comfortable, and like I do this on the men's group, I began to see people turn off not just their mic, but their video too. So it's just a blank screen with their name on it. And then I realized that I could turn mine off as well, and it felt like freedom, right? It's freedom. It's freedom for a bathroom break. I can get up and get something to eat. I can get more coffee, or maybe just zone out because people aren't staring at me anymore. But then I wondered, if I turn my mic off and video and no one even noticed, does it even matter if I'm on the call? Like if I, think about it, you're in your school, right? You're on your Zoom call, and I don't know if your teachers allow you to like turn your camera off, but say you mute yourself so they can't hear you, you turn your camera off, and like think about it, like put yourself there. What if nobody noticed that you weren't there? Would it matter if you were even on the call? And I think we've all wondered that before. Like, maybe not just Zoom, but maybe you wonder, like, does it even matter if I'm here? Like, it's this feeling of like, does anyone even notice? Does it even matter if I'm here? Or maybe you think, does anyone care what I think? Does anyone even care what I think? Does anyone notice what I have to say? Is anyone even paying attention? Like say something like this. Sometimes you might feel like anyone ever, like, what's the best way I can describe it? Anyone ever like won a little fish at like the fair or something, right? Like you get that little baggie with just one little goldfish in it. And like I used to want to play the games at the fair where you could win that one little goldfish. And like you win that one little goldfish, and what do you do with a little goldfish? You take it home and you go, Mom, what am I supposed to do with a goldfish? And she gives you one of those clear bowls, right? A fish bowl. And you put the fish in the bowl and you put the water in. Well, probably not in that order. You probably put the water first and then the fish. Unless you're a sadist. So you put the fish in the bowl. And like, I think sometimes, like use that mental image. Like sometimes we feel like we're one of those fish in a bowl. Like everyone is watching. And sometimes you feel like everyone else is on the inside and they think you're there, but you feel like you're on the outside looking in. And like I felt that way a lot in junior high especially, and somewhat in high school, because like I wasn't in the cool group. I wasn't one of the popular kids. And a lot of my time in school, I felt like I was on the outside looking in. And I felt like, man, if I wasn't here, would anyone even notice? And I mean, all right, let's be real. Like, I'm going to get real with you. There are times when all of us feel like we're the center of the universe. Right? Come on, there are times when we feel like we're the center of the universe, right? And maybe you don't like vocalize that, maybe you don't say it that way, but we feel like we should be the center of the universe, right? Like the world should revolve around us, and if we need like a ride, like think about it, those of you who play sports, if you need a ride to practice, then everyone should stop what they're doing and get you to practice. They should make it happen. Or if we're like gluten-free, then maybe you go to a birthday party and you assume that there should be something gluten-free for you to eat too, right? Right? We do this. Or maybe if we don't like that movie, then it shouldn't be one of the options to watch during family movie night. See, if we're honest, it's easy to feel like we're the center. But then there are times when it feels like nobody notices us at all. Like maybe you look around at that friend's party that they said you had to be there. Right? No, you have to be there. And then you go to it, and then they haven't said a word to you the entire night. Right? Like you're at the party that you just had to be at, but it feels like no one would notice if you weren't even there. Like if you slipped out the back door, nobody would even care. Or maybe your parents won't stop like bragging about your sister's SAT score or scores of your brother's athletics, but you don't ever hear them bragging about you. It's like, man, they talk about her scores and how smart she is. Like this was my reality. They talk about my brother's athletics. But like, I never hear them bragging about me. Like it may not be one of your friends or your family. Like it could be your boyfriend or your girlfriend. It could be your coach or a teacher or a combination of all of these. But when we don't feel seen or valued by people in our lives, it starts to make us feel like we don't matter. Right? Like if we don't feel like we're important to the people in our lives, it can feel like we don't even matter. Like whenever we feel like we're overlooked or ignored, it's easy to become discouraged or feel numb and disengaged. Like, if nobody's listening, why should I bother speaking, right? I feel that way a lot. If nobody's paying attention, then it doesn't matter what we do, does it? When we feel like we don't matter, it takes the passion and excitement out of our lives. We don't feel like we're thriving in life, like we're just surviving, right? Like, yeah, I'm just getting by. And nobody wants to feel that way, right? Like, if we're honest, nobody wants to feel that way. We don't want to go through our lives like that. But it's more than that. See, it's possible that we have a lot of people in our lives telling us that we matter, right? And, hopefully you have a support system where people are telling you that you matter. Your grandparents or your parents or your coaches, like, they tell you you matter, but you don't believe them. They're like, you think, man, they're our parents. They're supposed to say that. Or they're our coach. They're trying to get the best performance from us. Or whatever it is. They're just trying to coax something because that's what they're supposed to say or what they have to say. And so whether we hear this message a lot or whether we never hear this message at all, believing that we matter is a lot harder than it looks. Like, we all go through these struggles where we start to feel invisible or insignificant, and we start to wonder, do I even matter at all? And the good news is that today we're going to talk about someone who is very familiar with some of those same feelings that we've been talking about, that we've all experienced, right? And what we learn from her life can be a game changer for all of us. And I want you to catch this. See, in this series, Afterlife, we're talking about Easter, and this week is Easter Sunday. And it's what many people would consider like the biggest day for followers of Jesus because it's the day that we celebrate Jesus' resurrection. It's when he came back from the dead. And he showed the world that he conquered death and that he's bigger and better than we could possibly imagine. Right? That's everything he did. But more specifically, we're talking about people who encountered Jesus after his resurrection and had a different life after they saw him. Their afterlife changed so much that while they were still here on earth, right? So today, we're going to talk about a woman named Mary and her experience with Jesus before and after the resurrection. But before we do that, let's start with a little context, right? Quick little Bible 101. The Bible is a collection of books. It's not a singular book. It's a collection of books that are divided into two parts. The Old Testament, or we call that like the pre-Jesus part, and the New Testament that talks about Jesus' life here on earth and what happened in the early church after he went back up to heaven. Now, the first 4 books of the New Testament are accounts of Jesus' life by different people. In the church world, we call them the Gospels, the good news. And those Gospels talk about a handful of different women named Mary. Like, that must have been a very popular name back then, like Matthew was when I was a kid, or Max is now. Like there's Mary, who is the mother of Jesus. Then Jesus was dying on the cross. There were 2 other Marys that were mentioned as well. And one of them was named Mary Magdalene. And the truth is, like, there's a lot that we don't know about Mary Magdalene. But one thing that we do know is that she was a committed follower of Jesus. In fact, her name is mentioned more than any other woman who wasn't in Jesus' family. The Gospels mention her 12 different times. Right? Luke tells us that she traveled with Jesus and helped support his ministry financially. He also mentions that Mary had 7 demons driven out of her. Yeah, that sounds crazy, right? She had 7 demons driven out of her. But it basically means that she was an outcast before Jesus healed her. So I think we can safely say that Mary understood what it meant to be ignored and overlooked. She lived it in the realest kind of way. She lived it. But here's why we're talking about her today. See, all 4 Gospels record that Mary Magdalene was there when Jesus was put on the cross. 3 of them say that she was there at Jesus' burial. And all 4 say that she was the first to see the resurrected Jesus. Right, now, the disciples, they get a lot of credit for being Jesus' most loyal followers, right? We talk about them a lot. But there was no other disciple around in the big moments of Easter as much as Mary was. And on a day where we celebrate Jesus coming back from the dead, we should pay attention to one of the people who knew him best. But she doesn't get a lot of attention. right? In a lot of ways, she lived on the sidelines. And if you don't pay attention to what you're reading, it sounds like a bunch of women named Mary that no one can keep track of, right? You definitely don't get the sense that she was a major player in the story, but she was. The Gospel of John, which was written by another one of Jesus' disciples, records that while it was still dark, Mary got up and went to the tomb, right? So Jesus died already. Saturday is the Sabbath. They couldn't go to it, so it's early Sunday morning before the sun came up. She went to the tomb, but when she got there, the stone that had been placed in front of the tomb was gone. And I want you to catch this, right? Like Mary didn't immediately think, of course he's gone. Like Jesus is risen from the dead, like he's alive. Like no one assumed that he was going to come back from the dead. That's not what they thought. That's not what they were expecting. See, she assumed that someone had messed with the grave and took his body. And she went straight to Peter and another disciple and she told them. And they ran to the tomb, and sure enough, Mary was right. The body was gone, and all that was left was Jesus' grave clothes. And so the other disciples left to go to tell the others. But Mary, she stayed right where she was at, right by the tomb. And I want you to put yourself in her shoes, right? Like you follow this man, like he cured you from 7 demons. You went from being an outcast to being loved and included and part of this group, this tight-knit family, so much so that you're helping to pay for the ministry. You're probably paying for meals, like you're helping take care of this whole group of people. 3 years or so, Jesus taught while he was here on earth, and then he dies. And you're thinking, well, that's the end of that. And so you're mourning this loss of a friend, right? And now you go because you want to help prepare his body properly because they didn't have time to do it Friday night. And you show up and the body's gone. And so as if the sadness of losing a friend wasn't enough, now there's the added trauma of his body having been taken or moved. And this is what John writes. He said, now Mary stood outside the tomb crying. As she wept, she bent over to look into the tomb and saw 2 angels in white seated where Jesus' body had been, one at the head and one at the foot. And they asked her, woman, why are you crying? They've taken my Lord away, she said, and I don't know where they've put him. And at this, she turned around and saw Jesus standing there, but she didn't realize that it was Jesus. And he asked her, woman, why are you crying? Who is it you're looking for? And catch this. She says, thinking he was the gardener, right? She said, sir, if you've carried him away, tell me where you've put him, and I'll get him. And Jesus said to her, Mary. And she turned to him and cried out in Aramaic, Rabboni, which means teacher. And Jesus said, don't hold on to me, for I have not ascended to the Father. Go instead to my brothers and tell them that I am ascending to my Father and your Father, to my God and your God. See, Mary Magdalene went to the disciples with the news. I have seen the Lord. And she told them what he had said, these things to her. This is John 20, 11 through 19. Right, so on the day Jesus defeats death, proving God is love, it's bigger and stronger than anything else, he makes sure that Mary was there to see it. And that was a very big deal. Because in first century Israel, when Jesus lived, a woman wasn't seen as a reliable witness. Like a woman, she couldn't testify in court. Her word wasn't to be trusted over a man's. And yet over and over again in the Gospels, at the cross, at the tomb, and on Easter morning, it was a woman who saw Jesus first and recognized him and who was given the job of telling the others. I want you to throw in the chat right now. Throw in the chat right now. Jesus chose Mary to be the first one who he appeared to after the resurrection, trusting her with the news of his coming back to life and to be the one to tell the other disciples. How do you think Mary felt to be trusted with this news? Like, put yourself in that culture. Because you're a woman, you're not valued, you're not trusted, you're not even allowed to testify in court. You're second-class citizen on every level. And Jesus says, Mary, I want you to tell the others that I'm alive. How would you have felt? See, when the rest of the world saw women as unreliable, inferior, and untrustworthy, Jesus saw something different. He valued and elevated them, even when the rest of the world didn't. Jesus made the decision to trust Mary with his resurrection. Like he knew Mary and he called her by name. Like he chose her to be the first person to share the good news. Like he could have chosen anyone he wanted. And he chose her. While others made assumptions about Mary because of her gender or her past or anything else that would have written her out of the story, Jesus wrote her in as a major character. Jesus made sure Mary knew that she had value and that her word could be trusted. See, when the world was sending one message to Mary, Jesus sent another. And if Mary ever wondered who she could believe, the resurrection of Jesus gave Jesus all the credibility in the world. So all the messages that others may have been giving Mary, no matter what messages we may be getting because of the resurrection, we can take what Jesus says seriously. And Jesus said, Mary mattered. Think of it this way. Because of the resurrection, Mary knew that she mattered. Because of the resurrection, Mary knew she mattered. See, today we celebrate something that happened 2,000 years ago, a day that changed the world. But on the first Easter morning, it changed the lives of the people who knew Jesus best, most of all. Because now, everything Jesus had said meant more than it did before. See, Easter morning, Jesus coming back from the dead proved Jesus was who he said he was, and that his words mattered. See, that morning, he spoke words that tell all of us about Mary's value and worth. In a culture where Mary would have heard again and again that she wasn't enough, that she didn't have credibility, that she would stay on the edges where she belonged, Jesus made sure the message she got from him was different. And the same is true for you and me. See, just like Mary mattered to Jesus, so do you. So do you. When he said her name, he said your name too. He said the name of people who feel overlooked or forgotten. He said the name of people who feel like our part in the story doesn't matter. See, because of Easter, because of the resurrection, Mary knew that what Jesus said could be taken seriously. See, she experienced Jesus' words firsthand. And what he did firsthand. And then she passed the good news on to the rest of the disciples. Like we're here today celebrating Jesus coming back to life because Mary carried that message back to Jesus' followers. And this Easter, that's the message I want you to take with you. That you're seen, that you're known, that you're loved, and that you're important. And not because I say so, but because Jesus says so. And if we wonder if we can take Jesus seriously, Easter Sunday is a reminder that we can. See, he defeated death. We can trust what he says. And Jesus says Mary mattered. And you matter. And the person next to you matters. And the person in the room with you matters. And the person in the kitchen in the other room making ice cream dessert, they matter. And the person watching YouTube on their computer, they matter. And the person flipping through TikToks while I talk, you matter. And see, when we live like that's true, our lives look different. And the lives of people we know and interact with look different too. See, I want you to think about how you treat yourself and others. And I want you to ask some questions. Ask yourself some questions. First one I want you to ask is, do you believe that you matter? Do you believe that? Ask yourself, do you allow other people to treat you as if you don't matter? Do you allow it? Maybe you need to ask the question, do you treat others as if they don't matter? Like, are there people you treat like they matter more? Are there people that you treat differently? Are there people that you treat like they don't matter at all? Ask the question, what would it look like to start treating yourself and others like Jesus did? Like they matter. Like starting today. Like what would change in your life if you really believed that you matter to God, and because of that, the people around you matter as well? Would you matter? Would you be more confident? Would you be more intentional in your relationships? Would you care more about relationships and less about what other people say about you? See, this week, I want you to think about what could change in your life if you really believed that you matter to God. Because of the resurrection, Mary knew that she mattered. And her afterlife looked different. But make sure you get this. Because of the resurrection, you can know that you matter too. And maybe you're watching, maybe you're listening tonight, and you've never heard these words before. Maybe you've heard before, but like they're hitting different right now. And you want to know more. Maybe you're watching tonight and you're unsure about this whole Jesus thing. That's okay. I'm glad you're watching. But if you're watching right now, and there's a still small voice in the back of your mind that says, man, I know I matter because of what Jesus did on the resurrection. I know I matter because what he says I matter. Maybe it's time I cross the line of faith and take a step out boldly to say, I'm going to put my trust in you, Jesus. Maybe it's you. Maybe if it's time, I'm going to say a prayer in a minute, and there's no magic words to the prayer. It's just acknowledging to God who we are and what we need. And if God's talking to you in the back of your mind tonight, just this still small voice saying, man, it's time to do it, then I want you to say this prayer and just be real with God for a minute. So I ask you guys, just close your eyes, bow your heads, and if that's you tonight, I want you to say this prayer. Father God, I come before you tonight, and I just acknowledge that I am a sinner, that I have done the wrong thing over and over and over again. Even though I want to do the right thing, I can't help myself. And God, I'm tired of trying to be good, trying to be good enough to get to you. And tonight I acknowledge I can never be good enough. I can never do it on my own. God, I need your help. And Father, tonight I put my faith and trust in Jesus as my Lord and Savior. And I believe what he said, and I know that I matter because of him. Lord, I ask that you would send your Holy Spirit into me to begin changing me from the inside out to become the person that you created me to be. I love you and I trust you. And I'm just going to ask you to be bold, man. If you prayed that prayer for the first time ever tonight, there's going to be a button showing up on the screen that says, hey, I made a choice. I crossed the line. I put my faith and trust in Jesus. If you click on that button, it's going to take you to another page where it asks, just give us some basic information. And I'm not going to spam you, like I'm not going to share it with anyone, but it gives me an opportunity to celebrate with you. I have a small gift I want to send you that if you cross that line of faith for the first time ever tonight, I want to send it to you, but I can't send it to you unless I know who you are. So if you cross that line of faith tonight, click that button. Just give me your name, right? I'll find you, and let me send you a small gift. For the rest of us, if you've been following Jesus for a while, man, I hope you take to heart like what we talked about in the example that we find in Mary, that we matter because of what Jesus did. Like, it changes from the inside out, that we should go out and tell more and more people about it. This Easter Sunday is an opportunity for you to do so. We're here on Wednesday night. Sunday's coming. We're going to be in the big church still this Sunday. It's a great opportunity. If your family's coming to worship on Sunday, hey, invite a friend. Can I bring my friend along? And just make it plain. Just a simple invitation. Hey, you want to come with me to church? We got pretty dope music. Pastor's pretty cool. And invite them to come. And then hopefully, in 4 weeks from Sunday, on May 2nd, when we come back live here in this room, we'll be able to invite friends here too. Man, thanks for coming. I'm glad you guys checked us out. If you have any questions about Jesus, God, life, the Bible in general, I'll stay on here for a couple of minutes. Otherwise, thanks for coming. Thanks for tuning in. We love you guys. We miss you. We can't wait for May 2nd. Take care, and we'll see you soon. Hit me up. I want to come watch you run. All right, guys. You are out of here.